Good morning, everyone. We are back with another Impact Salesforce Saturday session. Today we have Meera Nair with us, and this session is on deep dive into Salesforce platform events. She is Salesforce certified 18x Salesforce certified admin, Salesforce architect, and Salesforce architect at UST Global, and co-leader at Trivandrum Salesforce Developer Group India. And she is also a blogger and community speaker. Hi, this is Praveen Goli. I am Salesforce certified admin and developer and working in TCS, and also one of the star volunteer of New Delhi Salesforce Developer Group. These are the social media handles and hashtags of Impact Salesforce Saturday session. You can also join New Delhi Salesforce Developer Group in Trailblazer community so that you can get daily updates about the upcoming sessions. Impact Salesforce Saturday session. This is our virtual session organized by New Delhi Salesforce Developer Group. As I said before, you can find the past and upcoming sessions in the New Delhi Salesforce Developer Group website, and also you can register from our official website and get the updates. Talent Central. It is also again an initiative which is taken up by the New Delhi Salesforce Developer Group. It is same like Naukri Indeed. It acts as bridge in between the Salesforce aspiring students who are looking for job opportunities and companies looking for talented students. And Talent Central has success stories getting job opportunities with the help of Talent Central. Recently, New Delhi started an initiative, Let's Implement. Here they are connecting the mentors and mentees along with the mentorship. They will also get the hands-on experience, will be guided under the mentors. So this is also a great opportunity. Journey to Salesforce is an initiative taken up by Salesforce India Developer Relations. These are the top contributors to the New Delhi Salesforce Developer Group, and they are very active and contributing to the group. Thank you so much, guys, for contributing to the group. These are the New Delhi Salesforce Developer Group social media handles. You can follow the official channel and get updates every day. Thanks to our sponsors Cloudvandana and GreyOps. Thank you so much, guys, for joining the today's session. I hope you all have a great session, and thank you. Over to Meera ma'am.
Thank you, Praveen. So let me start sharing my screen, and please let me know once you are able to see it.
Yeah.
I hope you can see my screen now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's session. So like Praveen mentioned, I will be taking a session on Salesforce platform events today. Like Praveen mentioned, myself, Meera Nair. I am currently working as a Salesforce architect at UST Trivandrum, India. I have around 14 years of IT experience, in which 12 years has been on Salesforce platform itself. That's about me. And this is our agenda for today. So I will be giving you an overview about what is platform event, how the architecture looks like, then how you will be able to publish events from Salesforce, and how we will be able to subscribe to this platform events. And then we will be seeing some standard platform events along with the limits. So what is platform event? It's basically an event-based communication provided by Salesforce. If you see the structure of platform event, it is very similar to an object. But difference is that there is no page layout assigned to a platform event. That is, you won't be able to see the platform event through UI. But you will be able to publish platform events through Process Builder, Flow, Apex, and API. We will be seeing these details later. And if you would like to subscribe to platform event, again, you will be able to utilize process builder, flow, Apex, Comet, client. And the advantage with platform events is that once you publish a platform event, it will be available in the queue for 72 hours. So in case the client is not able to subscribe to a platform event, it is still available in the queue. And the main use case of platform event is for integration. That is, when you publish platform event, an external system will be able to subscribe to the platform event and they will be able to receive the changes. We will be seeing a use case later. And this is the architecture of a platform event. So there are 4 main components. There will be an event producer. Event producer means whoever is publishing the event. In this case, Salesforce is the platform event producer, and it can be from a flow or a process builder like we mentioned. And also there is an event consumer. Event consumer is any system or any application that is consuming an event, platform event. And even messages are there. These are nothing but the content of the message that you are publishing, and everything will be published to an event bus, and that will be available in the event bus. From the event bus only, consumers will be consuming the event details. And before going to how we can create a platform event, there are 2 types of platform events that we will be able to create. The structure is same, but the difference is how they are getting published. So 2 options are publish after commit or publish immediately. Publish after commit means, suppose you have got a transaction. For example, I am creating an account object, and in the account object creation, based on some criteria, I am going to publish a platform event. And if the type is chosen as publish after commit, that means after the account record creation is completed, then only this platform event is going to get published successfully. That is the first behavior. And publish immediately is the second behavior. That means once the account record is getting created, irrespective of the account creation is success or fail, the corresponding platform event firing will be a success. That means even if the account creation got failed, if we want to publish the platform event, in the case of publish immediate behavior, it will be a success. So this scenario is really useful in case of exception handling. This is a sample platform event. Maybe I can quickly go back to my org and I can show you. Okay. So I hope you know how to create a platform event. Under the setup, under integrations, you can see platform event. And once you click on new button, see in my org already I have reached limit. That's why I'm not able to click on new platform event. Dev editions are having a limit of maximum 5 platform events. So let me open and already create a platform event. I have got a platform event called account. So the scenario is something like this. Suppose Salesforce is going to be the master system for accounts. And whenever an account is getting created or updated, you would like to send this information to multiple external systems who are listening to the account changes. There are multiple ways to implement this integration. Like you can have a trigger-based integration, but here the problem is that if you have got more than one system to which you need to send the data, then you will end up in creating multiple integration points in Salesforce. This is going to be a huge work for us. So to handle this kind of situation, platform events are a huge useful option here. Like, you just need to create a platform event like I have shown here. This is called account itself, but you can see for a platform event, the API name will be appended with __EV_E. And here you will be able to create some fields also. Like I have created 3 fields. Account ID is active name, because this is the 3 values I would like to send to external systems when there is some update happening on account side. Once this is created, the advantage here is that you will be able to define then some process to publish this kind of platform events. then the external systems, they just need to subscribe to this particular platform event, and they will be then onwards getting all the changes happening to account record within Salesforce. This is how you will be able to easily integrate Salesforce data with multiple external systems, that is sharing same kind of data with multiple external systems. Like I mentioned, this is similar to an object creation only, but the difference is that like a normal object, you won't be able to create a tab for a platform event, and you won't be able to see the record details also. So how to see the record details or how to publish the platform event details, we will be seeing later. Like I mentioned, if you would like to publish platform event, there are multiple options. You can publish it using a flow, a process builder, Apex, or an API. Since we have created an account already, I will quickly show you how you will be able to publish platform event through these different platforms. First is through a flow. So when you create a flow, you will be able to define criteria by which you will be able to publish platform event. So this is one of the record triggered flow I created already to publish platform event. And you can see the record triggered flow. This is the start point, and I have got a decision or a checking here. So before publishing the event, I am checking for some criteria like the account name got updated or the active checkbox in account got updated. So in either of the scenarios, like whenever some update is happening on the account name or the active checkbox, I would like to publish the platform event. So how we can publish the platform event? It is nothing but a create record action available as part of flow. This is like a normal record creation only. So instead of an object, you are going to select the platform event. You might get a bit confused because the name is same, the label is same, but this is what I have selected here is the platform event itself. So I selected the object as the platform event, then you will be able to define the mapping. Like you have seen, these are the three fields available as part of platform event: account ID, name, and is active. So from the current account record which got updated, I am selecting account ID, account name, and active value, and I am assigning to the platform event. So this is how through a flow you will be able to publish a platform event. Similarly, you can do the same through process builder. So this is not the one. Let me open. Yeah, so this is a sample platform event publish operation through process builder. So you just need to select the object from which the process should get started. In our scenario, like we mentioned, it is when the account is getting updated or changed. And here you will be able to define the criteria when you need to publish the event. So whenever the account name or the active checkbox is changed, you are going to publish the event. And I hope you all know that platform, process builders are going to get retired in 2023. So it's good that you are not going to do any kind of new development utilizing process builder. Instead of that, utilize flow itself to do this kind of operations. Since I had this one in my system already, I just thought of showing you this, but this is not going to be a best practice going onward. So yeah, we have chosen the type, and here you will be able to publish event. Again, same like a create record operation through process builder. So this is going to publish the platform event for you. Now, what is the next operation? We saw publishing platform event through process builder flow. Now we can do it through Apex also. So let me open. I have got an account trigger. So how we are going to do here is whenever an account is getting updated, you can have an account trigger on the standard account object. Iterate through the records, a normal operation, like, iterate through the records, look for changes like if the name or the active checkbox value got updated. If it got updated, you can create a records corresponding to the account platform event, add to an event list. Then instead of normal insert operation, only the difference is that here you are going to call the event-based.publish operation to insert platform events. Normal object creation, you will be doing insert operation, but for a platform event, it is going to be publish operation. That's the only difference. So we use how to consume it, use placing Apex. Now, what is next? API. So can you think about like what is the use case of publishing platform event through API? This is another advantage of having platform event. That is, if an external system would like to update some information back to Salesforce, they will be able to publish the details to a platform event. Then internally, Salesforce will be able to retrieve the platform event data and process it. So normally you have got normal standard APIs, right? Then you might be thinking why you need platform event. The advantage here is that normal standard event, most of the time you will be able to update a single object only. Like if you want to update something to account, you will be calling account standard API. But think about a scenario like you want to do something on both account and contact. In that case, if you have got a platform event which has different fields like account ID, contact ID, then the required field values, then the external system can publish data to that platform event. Within Salesforce, we can process that platform event and update data back to the corresponding update account and contact. So with respect to processing, it is going to be very simple. Otherwise, what you need to do is you will end up in creating two options basically. Either the external system can call the two standard APIs like account and contact separately and do the operation. But in this case, this is going to be two separate calls, which is going to consume more API limits on Salesforce. Otherwise, you can create a custom Apex REST API, which is going to accept both account and contact values and do the operations. But again, the effort of implementation in this scenario is high. To avoid those kind of complex implementation, you can create a simple platform event with the required details, and the external system will be able to publish details to that platform event directly. So I will quickly show you, since we have got Workbench REST Explorer, I will show you like quickly how you will be able to publish utilizing API. So I have something here already, but I think just 1 second. And let me open Workbench. I hope most of you have utilized Workbench REST Explorer to try out APIs. If not, this is how you will be able to access. In our case, publishing platform event to Salesforce is a post operation. Then you need to mention the URL here. So I have it already. Yeah. So this is the endpoint to which you need to publish the details. And then you can mention the body. Like here, you can see the structure, the API version name, a subject, and you can mention the platform event API name. To the body, you can give the details. This is the JSON structure. I'm just mentioning the 3 fields available in platform event. That is account ID, is active, and name. So once you have the JSON structure, you just need to execute this. And automatically, if this is success, you will be getting a success message here. This means the platform event got published successfully into Salesforce. Later, I will show you like how this looks like once you publish, where you will be able to see the details. But I hope you now got an understanding or high-level detail on what are the different ways by which you will be able to publish a platform event within Salesforce and have to create a platform event. Now let us see. Once a platform event is published, either internally from Salesforce or from an external system, what are the different ways by which you will be able to subscribe to platform events? There are 5 different main approaches. One is flow, second is process, third is Apex, fourth LWC, and 5 is a commodity client. You can see all these details. So I have got a scenario to explain internal use case of a platform event subscription. So we already saw that whenever an account is getting updated, we are firing a platform event. Now I have got a second step or second process that I would like to add to that. That is, whenever an account is getting deactivated, I would like to deactivate all the contacts under that account. This is what I would like to implement. For that, I can subscribe to the platform event that is getting fired whenever the account is getting deactivated. So once I subscribe to the platform event, I will be able to add additional logic to the corresponding process to fetch the child contacts, iterate, deactivate the contact, and update it. So this is how internally you will be able to subscribe to a platform event, and you will be able to add additional operations to that. But what is the advantage of this one? See, this scenario, you will be able to implement directly also, right? That is, whenever the account is getting updated, you can have a process directly on the account record itself, either through a flow or through a trigger on account directly to implement the same operation. Then why you need to implement this using a platform event? It's a 2-step process actually. The advantage here is that if you are going to implement it directly utilizing a flow, it is going to be a synchronous operation. But if you want to save some transaction limits on based on governor limits and all, you will be able to make this an asynchronous operation utilizing a platform event. Because in the actual transaction, you are just going to fire the platform event. That is a single transaction. And after it is published, the subscribing to the platform event is going to be a separate transaction. So the current governor limits are not going to get affected by this. Now, let us go back and see how we have implemented this operation. Yeah, this is the one. Like I mentioned, this is a platform event-based flow. If you click on new flow, I hope you have seen like what are the different operations available when you are creating a new flow. We have got an option called platform event triggered flow. That means you can subscribe or create an operation based on a platform event. Here, you just need to choose the platform event to which you want to subscribe. So in our case, it is the account platform event that we have created. So you will be able to choose the account platform event, then you can proceed with the operation. In our scenario, I have the flow created already here. Like I mentioned, this is the flow. And here I am going to check if the account checkbox is active is false now. If that is the case in the platform event, I'm going to fetch all the child records, child contacts. Iterate over each of the record, and you are going to make the contact active checkbox value as no. At the end, after the looping is completed, you will be able to update all those contacts also. This is how you will be able to subscribe to a platform event within flow and implement the operation. The same thing I have implemented utilizing a process builder also. You can see here I have subscribed to the account platform event through a process builder. And here we are checking the criteria where the account checkbox is no, active checkbox is no. In that case, only difference is that process builder is not capable of doing complex operations like a flow. So if I want to fetch the child records, do some complex operations, it's not directly possible. So what I have done, I have called a custom Apex class to deactivate the contacts. Let me quickly show you that class also. This is the contact deactivation public class. This is an invocable method. That is, if you would like to call something from a process builder or flow, the message or the method should have an invocable method annotation with that. Then it is just accepting a set of account IDs, and it is going to fetch the associated contacts and make it inactive and process it. Same thing you will be able to implement utilizing a trigger also. Trigger means a trigger on the platform event object. So this is our platform event. So I have implemented a trigger on the platform event, iterating over the account records. And here I am calling directly the contact deactivation method that we have seen just now. So another approach of subscribing to platform events. So I think this, I have deactivated the flow and process builder, but this class is still active. Let us see what is happening here. Before that, I would like to show you one more approach. If you would like to subscribe to platform events, right, you can do that within LWC also. I have created an LWC component using by which I can subscribe to this platform event. Here, you just need to mention the platform event that you would like to subscribe. So once you click on subscribe button, you are already subscribed to the platform event. Now let me open an account, and like I mentioned, a platform event is going to get fired whenever the account name or when the active checkbox is getting updated. So I would like to show all what we have seen just now. So our use case first, whenever active is getting updated as no, a platform event should be fired. And second scenario is that when the active checkbox is no, I would like to fetch all the contacts under that account and make that inactive. So I have got the account also, contact also here. Let us quickly verify the value of active checkbox value in this contact. It is yes, actually. So this should be updated as no. That is our scenario. So let me go back to account first. Modify the active checkbox value as no and save this. So if you see this, subscription details, you can see a new platform event got fired, and all the details you will be able to see here, including the payload, like the name of the account, then the account ID field, and is active pick list value. These are the three variables that we included as part of the platform event. All those details you will be able to see here. Now, the second step was that we have subscribed to this platform event, process this, and added process to deactivate the contact. So let me open the contact associated to this particular account to see if the active checkbox value is no now. You can see it got updated as no. That means the platform event subscription is a success, and we were able to deactivate it successfully. Now I would like to show you one more approach. See, these all are internal approaches of subscribing to platform events, but how an external system will be able to subscribe to this. And okay, one more thing, the code corresponding to the LWC component for subscribing to the platform event is this. This is not complex. You just need to have some approaches to handle subscribe. Nothing complex here. You just need to get the response and convert it to a readable format. That's it. The subscribe is very simple operation. Also, I have got an unsubscribe method also to unsubscribe to that particular event. Now, let us go back and see the scenario where an external system would like to subscribe to platform events. There are multiple ways. Again, even I have written a blog post on how you will be able to subscribe to platform event utilizing MuleSoft. And here, what I am going to do is we have got a Comedy based client. Comedy is a system by which you will be able to subscribe to events. So Utilizing PowerShell, you will be able to subscribe to that. Again, I have written a blog post in detail on how you will be able to subscribe to platform event utilizing external Java client Comedy. All the setup mechanisms of how you will be able to implement this is explained in detailed manner here. So if you follow this blog, you will be able to do the basic setup. Nothing complex. You just need to make sure you have JDK 8 version, Apache Maven, then there is a sample EMP connector project available already. You just need to download that and do the basic setup. Once the setup is done, from here, you will be able to subscribe to that platform event. So I am just navigating to the folder where I have implemented or downloaded this connector. Once that is done, this is how you will be able to subscribe to that platform event. My credential details, I hope, okay. So event/account event details. If you just mention this, you will be able to subscribe to that particular platform event. You just need to enter the details. And if the subscription is success, a message will be getting displayed here. And whatever we published already, it is getting subscribed here. And whenever a platform event is getting published, there is something called an ID or replay ID. If you want to subscribe to a particular event ID only, you can mention that event ID also. And you can see the replay ID here, right? So based on the replay ID also, you will be able to subscribe to platform events. This is how from an external system, you will be able to subscribe to platform event. Okay, so we saw how to subscribe using Flow, Process Builder, Trigger on Account Event Trigger, LWC, and Comedy. Now, quickly we will see whatever we have seen is custom platform events. And you might have heard about change data capture also, right? Change data capture is similar to platform event only, but platform events are having more capabilities. Change data events are standard platform events that is getting fired whenever some standard objects are getting updated. But if you want to have more complex structure to your event, you need to create platform events itself. And Salesforce has provided with a couple of standard platform events also, which you will be able to consume in multiple scenarios. An example is flow execution error event. This will get fired whenever there is a flow exception happening. So you will be able to subscribe to this particular flow execution error event through utilizing a flow or process, and you can log exception. So this is really useful when you want to log exception from a flow. Similarly, there is something else called batch apex error event. This is going to get fired when there is an exception happening from a Salesforce Apex batch. Again, you will be able to subscribe to this particular standard platform event through triggers, flow, process, or Comedy. Anything you can utilize. Again, the advantage here is that since this is a standard platform event, this batch apex error event will be having all the details related to the exception happened within the batch process, and you can subscribe to this and you will be able to log exception details to a custom object for tracking purpose. Other one is order status change event. This means you might have seen the standard Salesforce order event, right? So whenever an order record is getting updated, an event will be fired by default. Again, you will be able to subscribe this utilizing Apex trigger, flow, or process. Before going to the next slide, again, if you would like to see the details of this different, I have got some blog posts like, batch apex exception, how you can subscribe to batch apex error event and you can have a better exception logging for batch apex. I have explained in a detailed manner as part of this particular blog. you can refer it later. And order event also, order status change event also, the details are available as part of this blog. You can refer to that later. There are some considerations. See, all the features in Salesforce are coming along with some limits only. So you need to be very careful before implementing platform events. These are some considerations that you need to take care before deciding your solution as platform event for an integration or internal implementation. I think internal implementation does not get affected with most of this limits, but that get applied to during integration process. I'm not going through the details. You can later refer this PPT and you can understand the details. And these are some resources are referred for preparing for this. Thank you so much. If we have got any questions, we can take that now. You can share in the chat or you can directly ask here.
So Meera ma'am, one question. So through Flow, we can create multiple platform events on a particular object, right?
Yes.
So is there any issues if we create multiple platform events on a specific object through Flow, or
No.
is there, okay?
No issues. No, I know, like, you know, like normal operations like asynchronous operation at future and all got some limits based on like how many you will be able to fire or how many loops you can have, but platform events does not have any limitation like that.
Okay. One question, can we create a report on platform events?
No, as per my understanding, you cannot have reports on platform event. I might be wrong. I need to double check and confirm, but I think it's not possible.
Okay. Guys, please ask questions if you have any questions related to platform events. Any doubts?
Using platform event, can we integrate the, we can configure the real-time integration?
It's almost real time, near real time. We call it as near real time, right? So there can be a delay of 1 minute or something like that. But you might have seen that how I subscribe to it, right? Through the comment B. Okay, let me quickly share and show you. I hope you can see my screen now, right? So this Commodity subscription is exactly same as an external API subscribing to platform event. So now if I go to my record, let us try to update one account actually. The Zoom pop-up is not allowing me to open my, 1 second. So let me go to account. Our criteria was that when we are updating the name or active checkbox on account, it should be fired, right? So I just saved and this is, I just want to make sure that it is the same. Got subscribed already, but what I was checking is the name is the old one. So that might be a mapping issue on my side, but the record got displayed or the record got subscribed to the subscriber as soon as it is published. So there is not much delay in subscribing platform events.
Yes, got it.
Hello, Mira.
Yes, Shubham.
Yeah. So like when we are subscribing to platform event via external system, so what is the use of like reply ID? Like, is the any platform event will be persistent in the event bus for a period of 72 hours. So after, if you want to catch only the events which are being subscribed after, which are being triggered after the subscription of the channel by the subscribers, so how we can make ensure that?
Can you repeat the question, Shubham?
Yeah, since the since the events in the event bus are being persistent in the in that is for a period of 72 hours.
Correct.
So if you want to already catch all those events which have been subscribed after a channel has subscribed to the event bus, so how we can ensure that?
So if, okay, like I mentioned, the events are persistent only for 72 hours, right? So you won't be able to definitely subscribe to events which is fired before the 72 hours. It's not possible if you are going to subscribe to that for the first time. Only last 72 hours platform events are going to be available for you. Then whichever is going to fired as a new event, from that subscription time onwards, all the new events will be available for the subscriber. That's how it is going to behave.
Okay. Yeah, thanks.
I saw some question on the chat also. Is batch apex error event enabled on all orgs to capture? Yes, it's by default, it's available. Like I mentioned, it's a standard platform event. So it's by default available in all org. You just need to subscribe and add process or, add methods to subscribe that, process it and log exception. That's it. I can quickly share the blog link here so that if you would like to take a look at that later, you can. So details are available here. Actually, platforms are really powerful. Like, I have seen in many organizations, people started to move to platform event-based integration approach. Like even their existing integration, people started to move to event-based because comparatively the maintenance effort is easy and implementation wise also it is easy. External systems will be able to also subscribe to that very easily. Like integrations like integration using MuleSoft and all, it's very easy using by which you will be able to subscribe to platform events. Anything else?
Yes, Mira, ma'am. Just can you tell me like how the trigger basically subscribe the platform event based on the replay ID because it's subscribe based on the sequence, right? Some sequence. So,
correct. So trigger, it is not possible, Ashish. What you said is correct because when you are subscribing from an external system, you will be able to mention the replay ID. But when you subscribe to trigger, process builder or flow, we cannot mention the replay ID, but only the immediate ones that are getting fired, you can subscribe and process. You won't be able to retrieve what is available as part of event bus. It is not possible.
okay.
Okay, some question. Do platform even use Samsung SQS in backend? Frankly, I don't know even like what they have utilized at the backend. Maybe I can try to find out and update you. Anything else?
I have one question here. So we can subscribe and we can publish and subscribe platform events within Salesforce. So do we have any specific use case to do so?
Okay, I showed that already. I'm not sure if you joined a bit late, Rutika.
Yes, I joined. Sorry, I missed it. Might be.
Okay, let me share my screen. So like I mentioned, the main use case of consuming within Salesforce is to implement an asynchronous mode of execution, Rutika. Like, see, normally, if you want to do some operation, it is going to be synchronous within Salesforce. So I was showing a specific use case, like when an account is getting deactivated, deactivate all the contacts under that account. So normally you will be doing this as an account trigger or a flow on account, but the operation is completely going to be synchronous. And your governor limits and your processing time, everything is going to get affected by the contact deactivation process. So if you want to improve the current transaction performance and reduce the governor limits that is getting applied, you will be able to fire a platform event instead, and you can later subscribe to the platform event and do the contact deactivation process in a separate thread, so that you will be getting an asynchronous. So this is one of the use case. Similarly, this kind of scenarios can be, the asynchronous mode of operation is the biggest advantage of subscribing to platform events internally.
Okay. Okay, so we already have like future queuable, right, for async?
It was available with Apex only, right? So from a flow, very recently only they have added, I think winter 22 only asynchronous operations are available along with the flow. So before that, it was not available. Right?
Oh. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so Meera, if any class if a class is called via catch inside a flow, so it will be called in a asynchronous governor limits, like it will have the heap size of 12 MB and other increased limit as part of synchronous governor limits are there.
The scenario is you are utilizing an invocable Apex from a flow, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that is going to be asynchronous mode. It is still synchronous.
Okay,
it's a sales transaction.
Since it is catching the platform event, so it will not become async.
Platform events is async. Wait, when you are subscribing to a platform event, it is async. But in my scenario, I showed you something from Process Builder, right? Where this Process Builder, you are calling an Apex class method for deactivating contacts. In this context, this is not async. This is a direct operation. But subscribing to the Process Builder, subscribing to the platform event from the Process Builder, this operation is completely async. This is where the async is going to happen, not here.
Okay, so okay.
And even if the event is getting published, that is happening in a synchronous operation. But once it is published, subscribing to the platform event operation, it is an async operation. It is going to happen in a separate transaction.
Okay, and after that, it will behave in async way.
Correct.
Guys, any questions?
Okay, one more question I saw, like, scenarios of utilizing platform even for integration. Yes, we used in the past. So I will tell you the scenario. when we have complex integration, like especially when you, one scenario I mentioned, like, when you want to have some account update happening within Salesforce, and if you want to send that information to multiple systems, instead of building a complex integration solution in Salesforce, you can simply create a platform event and ask all those subscribers to listen to our event, so that all the subscribers are going to get the same type of platform event. Now, the other scenario is to build a complex type of process integration orchestration. As an example, what we have implemented in the past, like in Salesforce, we have orders, right? So when an order is getting created after a deal or an opportunity is created, and if the stage has become success or won, at that moment, we created an order in Salesforce. And order line items will get created in Salesforce. Whenever the order and order line items are getting created, the actual order management system was an external system. I think it was an SAP based system. So we wanted to send all this information to the SAP system. So what we have done in that case, like whenever the order got created, right, we utilize an integration middleware that was utilizing Boomi. So instead of Boomi, it can be MuleSoft or anything. So whenever the order got created, we pass that order EID as a platform event to the middleware system, so that the middleware system can come back, fetch all the details from Salesforce and integrate that with the external system. So platform events has got some kind of disadvantages, like you won't be able to create all data types as part of platform event. So complex data structures, you might not be able to include as part of platform event. Instead of that, you can do something like this. You just need to fire the platform event with minimal details, so that the middleware can come back and fetch all the required details from Salesforce and integrate with Salesforce external systems. This was another use case we implemented. I hope it was clear. Yeah, Praveen. That's nothing. I'm good.
Oh, thank you, ma'am. It's really great session. All right, guys, we can wrap up this session.
Okay. Thank you all, and thank you, Praveen and team, for having me.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.